Welcome to part 1 of our video presentation on chapter 10. In this part we will talk about importance of good communication. The greatest threat to many projects is failure to communicate. Why is that? Well, the first thing I'd like to do, I'd like to bring to your attention a book by somebody named James Weatherby. Now, James Weatherby is quite well known in the IT community. I think he's pretty famous for his textbook on system analysis and design, but he created many other useful theories and frameworks and wrote many useful practitioner-oriented articles. I know James because he was a faculty back at the University of Houston. This is the school where I did my graduate studies. So he wrote this book. So what's your point? This book is largely about improving communications within an organizational context. And it's very interesting, engaging, and practical book. Now, one interesting thing about this book, it's based on his research that shows that, here you can read this quote. Research shows that 80% of all problems within an organization are not problems but misunderstandings due to primarily ineffective communication. So basically what this number tells you, it tells you that you can eliminate 80% of your problems in relation to a particular IT or telecommunication project if you instill good communication. Because as James Weatherby says here, up to 80% of those problems are really misunderstandings. So good communication is essential for improving, for resolving those misunderstandings due to ineffective communication. Now, I also want to use this chance to advertise my book that I published recently. For now, it's published on the Kindle platform. It's about written communication. I also view it as a practical guide for any kind of business professional. This book talks about some of the most fundamental principles that make your written communication easy to understand, and as a result of that, easy to remember and also impactful. So it's applicable to all kinds of contexts, project management communication, communication using PowerPoint slides. So if you have a chance, read this book. I'm sure everybody has something to learn from it. But now going back to the presentation. So this is why good communication is important, because it really helps you to resolve many issues that may occur throughout the duration of a particular project. Now, unfortunately, our culture does not portray IT professionals as being good communicators. It sounds somewhat of a stereotype, but I think it's true based on research. You see, it takes different people to do different types of jobs. I think what characterizes technical professionals, like programmers, developers, they're very analytical, they're very good when it comes to analyzing problems and creating or fine-tuning algorithms. But that requires, I think, in my opinion, that requires immense focus and, also great attention to details, and all those things they kind of prevent, because they're so focused on that analytical side of their brain. A lot of IT professionals, they do not develop or do not open up the side of their brain that is responsible for emotional intelligence, the side that helps them to understand people better, to convey their own thoughts, feelings. So I think it's just like some kind of trade-off that we always have. Okay. But at the same time, research shows that IT professionals must be able to communicate effectively to succeed in their positions, especially when they're moving from a rather technical role to a managerial role. For example, somebody is moving from being a developer to being a team lead or a project manager. And everybody knows that strong verbal skills are a key factor in career advancement for IT professionals. Recently, we went on a tour of CSI, which is a big IT/telecom/banking outsourcing company headquartered in Paducah, Kentucky. And we talked to some of their key people, key engineers. And somebody in the audience asked one of our alumni who is working there in networking security. He asked Michael, so what are how to differentiate your CV, or what are the things that will get you a job at CSI? And what he said that, well, one of the things that I learned, I had to learn, and one of the things that will really set you apart, at CSI or any kind of organization, is your communication skills. So he basically said that, if you are an IT professional and you also have great communication skills, you will really stand out from the pool of applicants for any kind of job. So for all those reasons that we just mentioned, good communication is extremely important, not just in the context of project management, but any kind of organizational context. And that completes part 2 of our video presentation on chapter 10. Thank you for listening.